So everybody, it's Xilicks here, and welcome to the third week of the PBAL. We are going off against BlazinSquid and his Toronto Totodiles. If you missed out on the team builder, it was uploaded, I believe, 2 days before this video was uploaded. Make sure to go check that out so you know what I'm bringing and my reasoning behind it all. Then this video, it's a little bit late on the upload date. And it's also a post recording. Part of the reason for this is because I was traveling at the time that this battle was at the time that the battle happened. Sorry, stumbling over my words there. And because of that, I wasn't able to live record. But I'm going to be post recording this match and next week's match. Hopefully I can get back to live recording for the week after that. So anyways, let's talk about the team preview and what he brought. So right away, we see the Vikavolt, Salamence, Arcanine, Landorus T, Gyarados, and the Scizor. The Gyarados is his Mega Evolution. And my team is looking really solid against this because, as I mentioned in the team builder, if he doesn't have any Choice Scarfers, then Infernape, Swallow, and Mega Aerodactyl outspeed everything, and Mega Aerodactyl is even able to outspeed a +1 speed Mega Gyarados if he goes for a Dragon Dance. So that's really good. Vikavolt is a minor threat to our team. Our only real switch into it is the Sylveon, but if we can take that out, then Vaporeon literally walls everything. So that is really good. And because of that, I am going to lead with my Infernape, because if he leads something that isn't favorable, we can just U-turn out of there. And if he's expecting us to lead Mega Aerodactyl or Infernape, we might see an Intimidator, and then I can go for the Hidden Power Ice on either the Landorus or the Salamence. But we are going to see that Vikavolt, and I'm just going to play it safe turn 1. Instead of U-turning, I'm just going to click the Flamethrower, and because he stays in, we're going to be able to knock out something that could have been one of the biggest threats to our team on the first turn. That's huge, because now Vaporeon is just free to do whatever it likes. He brings out the Arcanine here, which, yeah, probably is the only thing that can really take hits from this at this point. And seeing the Intimidate set, it was probably built for the Infernape. But he is going to go immediately for the Wild Charge, probably predicting the Vaporeon to come in. But I'm going to be using Claydol as the main switch in to this, because I don't care if Claydol gets burned, since I'm running special moves, and like Fire, Electric, Fighting, any of the potential coverage from an Arcanine will not be doing anything to us. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam there, thinking that maybe Landorus would come in to try to set up rocks or defog rocks if I were to set them up. But we do see the Scizor, which thinks maybe he's like a bulky set and was planning on defogging, and he's just going to U-turn out as I bring in the Infernape. This Scizor cannot touch Infernape unless he has Aerial Ace. I think Superpower could do a decent bit if he's at like +2, but we resist the bug moves, we resist the steel moves, and then he brings in the Gyarados and Mega Evolves. This play was a little bit questionable. I thought here he was going to bring in Gyarados, not Mega Evolve, and go for the Dragon Dance, so that way he would be able to resist a fighting attack, but he Mega Evolves. Had I gone for a special fighting move there, I am carrying the Vacuum Wave, but if I was carrying the Focus Blast, I would have just O-coded this thing, or alternatively, I could have just gone for 2 Vacuum Waves. But he is going to make the safe play and just click the Waterfall, which I still don't think he should have Mega Evolved there, but it is what it is. And then because of the Mold Breaker, he is going to be able to hit us with the Waterfall, but it's fine because we can take those hits all day anyways. And we're just going to go for the Scald, hoping to get a burn. But because obviously he set up that substitute, we're not going to be able to break it. Fortunately, on this Vaporeon set, I am running the Roar, specifically for potentially set up Gyarados, set up Salamence, set up Landorus, just roar out all those threats, get them off my screen, and we did get a decent bit of damage on this Gyarados with the U-turn and him taking the substitute damage, and this Roar is essentially free as he did set up the Dragon Dance, so we're just getting up our leftovers. In comes the Salamence, and now we are basically back at full health, so even if you like Dragonium Z's us, we will be fine. I don't actually recall if this is his Z user or if it's the Landorus, but I am packing the Ice Beam on my Vaporeon, and I'm going to obliterate that Salamence because we do not see a Yache Berry, and now we are at full health with our Vaporeon, which is fantastic news, and we are going to see the Landers come in. Now, this kind of screams Yache Berry, so instead of going for the Ice Beam, which is probably going to be a 2-hit KO if he has the Yache Berry, I'm instead going to go for the Scald, because Scald is also going to be a 2-hit KO, and there's the burn chance. And fortunately for me, I do get that burn chance. Now, this kind of sucks for our opponent because a +2 Earthquake would definitely do a lot of damage to this Vaporeon. Depending on his set, I don't think he could knock us out without the burn. But as you can see there, even while burned, he's doing like nearly half. But the second Scald is going to be able to take out this Landorus. I could have like wished there because he was burned and tried to heal up and let him go down to the burn. But I figured it wasn't worth taking any risks. This Vaporeon is way too valuable against the rest of his team, as nothing takes a Scald at this point. He is just going to bring in the Scizor and click Bullet Punch. Not entirely sure why he did that. I did go for the Roar though, because I was expecting he's probably going to try to like Sword Stance U-turn or Sword Stance like Bug Bite or something to get a lot of damage, and he's going to get roared out into the Arcanine, which again I could just Scald, but because he already revealed the Wild Charge, I figured you might as well switch out in case this thing's like a Bandit set or anything like that, and I go out into the Claydol, which he does predict correctly and goes for the Flare Blitz, but my Claydol is very bulky and I will be able to take that hit relatively nicely. And now at this point, with the leftovers as well, I'm threatening him with the Earth Power, and yeah, he is going to switch here. I'm still going to click that Earth Power just because everything is grounded at this point, and it's not going to do too much damage to the Gyarados here, but I think it knocks him to the point where he can't. Oh no, he can still set up one substitute, I'm pretty sure, from that range. And because of that, I decide, well, I have something that can hit behind substitute, or alternatively, I can just have something that straight up knocks him out. But I am going to go with the Sylveon because if he sets up a substitute, I can Hyper Voice. If he goes for a Waterfall or Crunch, we can take those hits nicely. And Sylveon's really expendable at this point because there's that Scizor left, which can obviously do a ton of damage to us with a Bullet Punch, and the Arcanine, which potentially might be a Bandit set. So Sylveon, really, its only purpose is for this Gyarados, and I am just going to set up a Wish because on that turn, I was predicting him to either set up or go for a switch, and he didn't do either. He went for the Waterfall to potentially try to get a flinch or just damage, but because we set up the Wish, we are going to be able to heal ourselves nearly back to full after the leftovers. And now at this point, it's like, okay, I just click Hyper Voice because there's no reason not to, but he does correctly switch out here into the Scizor. So now I'm just kind of like, all right, you know what? Fine. you wanna preserve around and make the right switches. I'm gonna make some switches myself. And now back at full HP on the Sylveon. Leftovers is busted. I'm going to bring out my Infernape because, as I mentioned before, there's really nothing he can do outside of like an Aerial Ace, and he's just going to go for the U-turn, which is doing pitiful damage. And for whatever reason, he brings in the Gyarados here, I believe. Yeah, I don't know why he did this. I feel like he's forgetting Infernape is a fighting type and Gyarados is a dark type. Because if this was a regular Gyarados, like water flying, then yeah, this would be a good switch unless I had the Thunder Punch. But he does have that dark typing, so the Vacuum Wave is just going to take him out, no problem. I don't have to risk anything there. And then he's going to go back into the Scizor, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to click Flamethrower, but he does have the Aqua Berry. He was probably predicting a physical Infernape set when he did his team building, because the special defense on this Scizor was not enough, even with the Aqua Berry, to survive a Life Orbed Flamethrower. And then with the last Mon, it is going to be that Arcanine, which at this point, we have the Claydol, which can very reliably wall this thing, because I'm fairly certain he is choiced in some way, and I'm going to go into Sylveon first just to see what he locks himself into, since others have full health. And seeing that he went for the Wild Charge, then I'm basically free to go into the Claydol and steal up the match with the Earth Power. I do mess around for a little bit here with the Wish just because I wanted to 100% sure I was securing a 6-0, because we took a 5-0 loss last week, and I wanted to get that point of differential back, as well as we had the 3-0 victory from the first week. So that'll put us at a +4 differential if we are able to seal out this game. And since he's just clicking Wild Charge, my suspicions of him being choiced are basically confirmed at this point, because obviously the Flare Blitz would have been better against the Sylveon. And I'm just going to seal out this game with 2 Earth Powers from the Claydol, and that'll be GG. So not too much hacks in this battle. There was the burn on the Landorus, which I don't think mattered. I'm like almost positive it didn't. If it did matter though, then that kind of sucks. But without the burn, Vaporeon would have been a lot lower. So there's that to factor in as well, even if we did survive it. But if it wasn't a 6-0, it probably would have been like a 5-0 without that burn. So at the end of the day, I believe we still had that one. Our Aerodactyl and Swallow didn't even touch the field. And really, I can just credit that to this matchup was really good for us. Infernape can kill every single thing on the team, and anything that can't be killed by the Infernape can be killed by the Vaporeon. And that's what we saw happen. Obviously, Claydol did score that last kill in there, but that could have been done by another member of the team. So I'm pretty happy with this match. And moving into the next week, I believe we have a very tough opponent ahead of us, because his team is looking really nice. I think both of our teams are super offensive, and that match will hopefully be exciting and narrow because there's going to be a lot of big time offense going on in that match. But that is going to seal up this video. Make sure to check out my opponent. I will have their channel linked below in the description, as well as the PBAL Twitter, where you can see all of the other coaches. They should be on the Twitter feed. And with that, I will catch you guys next time. Kiddings, bye.